Tonight we're interviewing someone on whom Randolph Hearst has nothing, and he's not even close. So Sally Finck is a one-woman powerhouse in publishing, and she has her story to tell. We want to definitely learn from her about what she's been going through. So this is her latest issue here. She publishes the Connecticut Sentinel. So this is what I would call the one true conservative paper in the state of Connecticut. That's right. I would say it's a 6-page issue, right? Or 8?
It's actually 8 pages.
8, okay, 8. And it will grow. So, you know, it may seem tame compared to other papers, but it's the trajectory for this paper is very clear. So we're going to ask Sally a few questions. We'd like to, because this is very new. She's only been doing this for a couple of months, and it's remarkable what she's accomplished in that short period of time. So I'd like to introduce Sally Finck.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. So Sally, the first question I'd like to ask you really is, what inspired you to do this?
What inspired me to do it? Well, for one thing, I had probably more time on my hands because I left a job. I was a music director at a church, so I am an organist, I'm a keyboard player, so this is definitely out of my element, and I wasn't thinking to myself like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go off and start a newspaper, but I attended a rally on, I think it was February 11th, with the Bridgeport Superintendent of Catholic Schools, who was being more or less persecuted by the Department of Health for daring to make masks optional. And while I was there, I saw 3 major news outlets. There was News 12, Fox 61, and I think the Connecticut Post.
I think they're flattered to be considered major.
So they had their tripods out there, and they're asking questions. And of course, we all know, I mean, how it's going to come out on the other side is, you know, they're going to interview the other people and say, well, it is still a threat to public health or whatever. So I, as I'm seeing all of this, they actually put a microphone on a little girl, and she gave her testimony about masks and how they were harmful. And then so we all watched, you know, the outlets for what they were going to publish, and only Fox 61 used just a little bit of, maybe a minute or so of what the girl said. And I remember thinking, I could do better than that. Like, I could, you know, interview these people and get something out there. So that was kind of maybe the beginnings of it. And then I found there's so much we can do with technology, so I found an online template and just started messing around with it, and I was having a lot of fun. And so then things just kind of grew from there, and I sent it to people. And so the next thing I do, I'm talking to Court Rutnowski and being interviewed.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's kind of the
how it started.
story. Yeah.
So, so what do you go through to prepare each issue? And by the way, she's the only one doing it so far.
It's just me. It's just
me.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what do I go through? I feel like by kind of tuning into various outlets, whether it's Telegram or I'm talking to other people, getting a sense of like the cultural hot button issues, but then also state politics. And so I'm trying to kind of look for a consistent maybe rundown of what people are thinking and feeling and what's resonating with them, and trying to kind of put those in a priority order.
Okay.
And yeah, just from there trying to, well, like this, the latest one, which is actually, it's not in print, but it was on land and zoning issues. So there was a ton of stuff with it. So it's kind of like I brainwash myself for like a week, and then just kind of pare it down.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, that makes sense. So then, what kind of feedback have you been getting so far from people?
Feedback has been very positive so far. I've been very blessed. No one has thrown tomatoes or, you know.
I'm waiting for the liberal spitballs.
The feedback has been positive, but I am, you know, kind of bracing myself for the insults and the name calling and the death threats and whatever else they're probably going to start throwing.
It's a good thing. I mean, because certainly I have the faith that this is going to grow and it will reach, you know, that threshold. Then where certain liberals go, wait, what, huh? Yeah, where were you in the beginning? Where were you when the page was blank? Anyway, And, well, I'd love you to carry on, but my last question here is, what will happen in the next few months?
In the next few months, so I'm looking forward and seeing how I can reach more people and kind of grow the base. So there is a Facebook landing page. There's a Telegram channel. I confess that I'm waiting on Elon Musk to, for the Twitter thing to be decided whether or not I go to Twitter or not.
Right.
But then to go to maybe select stores and also going to rallies and events over the summer, seeing if I can sell just one-off copies to people.
Right.
Yep, and tell them about it.
Right, so that, and then advertising, you're working on taking
Getting some
advertising?
advertising and all that. It is an election year, so I'm also very blessed to be starting a paper during a hot campaign season and looking to be some close races among Republicans and hopefully covering the convention as well.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, getting a press
So,
pass.
what kind of plans are you making for that?
I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to secure a press pass for that, and I figure, just talking to the candidates and seeing what their thoughts are, where their campaigns are, how they're doing on funding, and whether or not they're confident in getting the delegate nod, or they
Yes.
still feel like they're an underdog, and
Yeah.
just hoping for ballot access.
I think it's fair to say they all consider themselves confident.
I think
Right,
so. I think
right.
so.
But,
yeah, nobody.
I'll tell you though,
Let's admit
just my opinion, because we've been at a number of these political conventions, and there is what I'll call a sort of sordid element. The backroom dealing, the arm twisting, and
Yes.
other things that goes on. It'll be interesting to see how you decide to cover all that stuff. I mean, what will happen is you'll hear stories, and then
Yes.
you'll be kind of like, well, is it true? Is it exaggerated? What are we talking about here?
Right.
But yeah, all kinds of stuff goes on at that convention. And another thing, just to mention it, we again remember, it is so bizarre. For all intents and purposes, the vote has been taken, the candidates have been selected, and even after all that is done, people who are running the convention will come back to the delegates and give them an opportunity to change their vote.
Really?
Yes, really.
Did I know
That I consider obscene, outrageous, and by God, it should be illegal. Imagine you vote for a candidate in a regular election, and then all of a sudden, like, nah, I want to vote for the other guy, and there's no and then you can just go back and change it.
Wow,
I've never heard of such a thing.
that's pretty surprising.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm just trying to think. So just want to hold this up again. So this is it, her.
And I will say,
yeah.
like, I've gone through kind of an editorial learning curve. I mean,
Sure.
when I started out, like, probably the second paper or, digital copy that I put out, I read back through it and I'm like, man, I really kind of got, I don't know what the word is, but I was like, wow, it was really, like, very strong op-ed. So I've kind of tried to, like, tone things down some, but,
Really? You think that this is a perennial issue? If you read some of my op-eds, you would know they are not nice.
Yeah, right.
And that's a fair statement.
But,
And
yeah.
sometimes they're needed, and I think there's a certain way in which to do it. Okay, on the one hand, you can say, "This is the dumbest person ever walked the earth. They can't rub
Yeah,
two
try to
words
avoid
together.
name
Nobody
calling
should
and
bother reading this stupid jerk." No, that's one way. But then you can sort of, I'm going to say, poetize it. Poetize it in the sense that, this person really does have quite a bit of experience. We would hope that they would have learned something from all these years. And I feel it's only fair to point out that as much of a track record as this person may have, they have said some things that really need to be challenged. So here I go. So, that's not the best example of poetizing, but I think you get the idea.
Sure.
So, but, Republicans in this state have been too nice for too long. And there really is a need for stronger, more strident voices that really puts these people on the spot. Because, just one. I think we talked about this, the poverty rate in Connecticut.
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah, about the
Right. So for the audience as well, we learned that, that Connecticut has the highest rate in the growth of poverty in the whole nation. Okay? You have to stop and think about this. We have the Gold Coast, Fairfield County, all these rich people, et cetera, okay? Yet, at the same time, how is it that since 1990, okay, because that's the starting date for this analysis, to have seen Connecticut as only one of 6 states in which poverty has increased, okay? The other 44 states, prosperity has increased, but Connecticut is not one of them. And what is the striking characteristic about Connecticut? It's been controlled by the Democrats for 40 years, one-party rule.
Sure. So I don't know if proton mail is case sensitive, but you can reach me at the CT Sentinel, so THECT Sentinel at proton.me, or the Telegram channel, or I do have a Facebook page. So those are the 3 right now. And I am working on a WordPress website, which will have options for paid subscriptions and that sort of thing. But that's all up and coming. So
Our sympathies for your working on that WordPress site.
yes, infrastructure.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, Corey.
Right. Thank you.